let's take a look at the state of my Black Series collection. This week I've been revamping the Jabbas shelf. So I've cleaned it all off and tried to rearrange the figures and put just figures on there that sort of work for a Jabbas Palace sort of scene. First of all, over here we've got Chewie being led away by a Gamorrean guard after Leia's sold him off to Jabba. Kind of like that Gamorrean guard. I couldn't quite get the position right on him, but I like the way he's got his sort of mouth open. It looks a bit like Chewie's got his arms up, sort of like in protest as he's being led away. So I think that sort of works a little bit, but I need to refine it a bit more, I think. I got my other Gamorrean guard out of the packet that I'd had in a while, so I can finally set him up. Looking at him, I really love those figures. I'd actually like to try and get hold of some more in the future, if I can get them at a good price. Further up at the back there, I've still got my old Han in place of a Carbonite one, so he's just like, we'll just pretend he's in Carbonite for now. I've put a few more characters from various different things that I think sort of work in the palace, or that we do have aliens like that, such as Sebulba as a Dug. We've got a Dug in there, so it's a special edition, so I think he sort of works in there. I've put that Rey in there as well, because I think just the way she's dressed sort of works as she could be sort of like a slave of the palace in that sort of sense. Like I've tried to put her hands like they're holding a tray, but obviously she doesn't have a tray yet, so but future project maybe. I've got Luthen there. He sort of looks like he might be a CD character in Jabbas Palace and get away with it. I've got Leia here, still in her Bouche outfit, looking up at Boba Fett, sort of giving each other a little nod of acknowledgement. 3PO up the back there, Jabba's translator. I also put these little boglins down there because I thought they worked as like little animals running around the palace, and also put this other one down there from the Omega pack. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, anybody that knows, they know. If not, you can tell me in the comments. Got the main man, Jabba, there, sitting on his throne. I've tried to sort of put him with Hera here. She's standing in for an Ula, obviously, because we don't have one. Figure that I really would like to get, but don't know if we'll ever get it. I put a bit of string, like the scene where she's fighting with Jabba just before he sends her off to be a Rancor snack. Yeah, the string doesn't really work, but it's there just again for illustrative purposes for the time being. We keep going along. Got Mara Jade up the back there. Bit of a spoiler for anybody that doesn't know. My other Gamorrean guard just standing next to the throne, sort of on looking. A couple of Jawas just watching by there. It's another Jawa that I've freshly opened up that I've had for a while, but just didn't really open him up yet because I didn't have a place. Looking up the back, we've got a few more characters. We've got Lando, obviously belongs in the palace. Another Rodian, a Greedo like version. I think he works there. The other guy played by Benicio del Toro. I think his name's DJ, I'm not sure. I'll correct myself with a bit of text if I'm wrong. That Zuvio guy, he sort of works in Jabbas Palace, I think. That little Steve or Stev, can't remember his name, the little diving guy that you meet in Jedi Survivor. I think he sort of works there. As with Val, Merrin and Morgan Elsbeth, I think they sort of work in Jabbas Palace for the time being. And just behind them we've got Griff Karga at the back there. Again, I think he sort of works in the way he looks for the palace. And just over to the far right here of the scene, we've got Luke looking like he's coming in and just mind tricking Bib Fortuna to try and get an audience with Jabba. So that's the Luke from the Mandalorian, the one at the end of season 2. Can't remember what it's called exactly, but I think he works with the cloak. I don't have that other one that came out with Luke earlier on where he's got like a brown cloak, but yeah, that one works for me. I quite like it, and I quite like the black cloak, even though I know it's not particularly accurate, but it works for me. So yeah, this is mainly the shelf that I've been overhauling this week. It's looking okay, I think, for the time being. I want to definitely arrange the characters in more of a better poses, because they all just literally look like they're standing around. So I want to try and get a bit more bits of scenery in here, maybe some little alcoves or something like that, maybe some tables and chairs, just a few more bits to sort of make it look look a little bit more like Jabbas Palace. But for the time being, I'm quite happy with how it started off. Also managed to get hold of a few more characters. I managed to get hold of a wedge, which I'm really pleased about. Got him for a really good price as well. So I'm really happy about that. So he's up here on the shelf, standing next to Jana rather. She's really cool, I really like her. She's got good details on her. Comes with a nice lot of accessories. I think she's a pretty cool character. I'm glad to actually have her in the collection. I was thinking about putting her in Jabbas Palace because I thought she sort of works for her look, but I've not put her there yet. And finally we've got General Leia over here from the Force Awakens. I'm glad to finally have a Leia from the sequels. I only had Han, so I've only got to get myself hold of a Luke now, and then I've got all three of the main legacy characters from the sequels. But yeah, very pleased to have all of those. They're not going to be staying up on the cantina shelf. That hasn't really changed much. Luckily everyone stayed standing up. No one's got any drinking issues this week, so that's good to know. Also just printed more of those turntables and stuck a couple of porgs on top of them. Just for no real good reason. Just because I thought it looked nice. I have been thinking about this other shelf as well this week. This the one that was the Empire shelf originally. And whilst I'm not going to keep it exactly like this, I do kind of like the look of having loads of characters on the shelf just looking out. So I might print off some more of those blocks like I made for the battle shelf and just put them horizontally so I can have it a bit more of a tiered sort of display. So at the back I'm going to have them a bit higher up obviously, and then coming forward a bit lower down. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that, but I've just got to get around to printing them off and setting up the filament. I've also been thinking about that I need more shelves if I want to display all my characters, so I'm going to have to look into fixing up some shelves on the wall or possibly getting hold of a shelving unit. I'm a bit limited with the amount of space I've got in this room, so I've got to either build them, put them up on the walls, or find something that will fit nicely into a corner, because that's about the only space I've got. I don't really have any freestanding wall space, and I certainly don't have the space to have those big, what do they call them? Is it D12s, the big glass cabinets? Although I'd like them because that would help to keep the dust out, but it's not really a possibility for me with my space that I've got in my house. I've also been trying to sort through all my accessories. If you can see in this box, I've tried to bag them all up. So I've got like the client's bits and pieces that come with him. I've just got some small bags that I can put them in and put a little label in with each one, so I can keep them a little bit more together and not getting so mixed up. I've got a Chewie's one from the blue box, a New Hope, his crossbow. I've got Jaina Solo's helmet. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to do, but it's a bit hard. I've got so many accessories. It's I'm having to look them up on different sites and just try and find out which accessory goes with which figure exactly. Then I'm just trying to sort of bag them all up and separate them so it's not such of a mess. And then I can just keep them all in the bags and fling them in a box like this and just put them somewhere for storage, because, as I said earlier, I've got limited space, so it's the easiest way for me to do it. This is my Jabbas throne. I thought I'd just show it because I think it's a bit different from other people's. I designed it myself on Blender, and I'll try to make it look a little bit like the original Kenner one. As you can see, it's got these pieces on the top here that sort of act as like a grate that you've got on the original Kenner. And for those that don't know, on the original one, when you turn these gargoyles on the end here, you can actually turn them. These ones don't turn, but when you turn them, they would lift up the platforms on it like that. So you could have an underneath bit. It sort of looked a bit like the Rancor's cage, moulded skeletons and sort of rats and stuff. So I think that's what it was trying to emulate. And you could sort of put characters in there, which is how I used it as a child. But I just wanted to make mine similar to that because I've got fond memories of it. And I also thought it would be a good place to store things, so I can sort of store accessories in there rather than just having them in random boxes, and it just sort of saves a bit of space. I made it in Blender. I had to make it in 6 different parts because I've only got a small printer, so I had to make it in the 6 parts, then glue it together and paint it. If we have a look on the bottom here, you can sort of see where the 6 parts were. You can just about see the line there. I hope you can see it. I have filled it in a bit, but there's like a line that goes along here all the way across, which splits it into 6 different pieces, and you've got one that goes right down the middle here. You can just slightly see parts of it, or I hope it's showing anyway. Yeah, again, I didn't bother painting the bottom, so you can see the sort of white plastic that it was, and then you can see the paint that I've put it on top of it. I just used basic acrylic paints that I've got, and it's the first time I've sort of tried to put weathering effects on things, and washes on stuff as well. So I just used basic acrylic paints, and then I sprayed it with a sealant, and then after that I added the washes and the dry brushing. You can sort of slightly see some of the dry brushing on the gargoyles, I hope. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I'm quite pleased with the way it came out. Quite like the gargoyles. They printed quite nicely. I was a bit worried about that. It was a little bit tricky on the ring pieces, but they came out alright. The only bit that I really don't like is the green sort of grime that I like quite to put underneath them. You can see it there. It's a bit bright. It's a bit sort of neon-y. I might redo it, but for the time being, I kind of like it, and I've kept it as it was. Unfortunately, the only sealant I could get hold of was a gloss one, so you might be able to see a bit of shine on it. And whilst I didn't like that at first, I kind of like it because it gives it like a bit more of a grimy sort of wet look to it, which is sort of how you might imagine Jabbas Throne is. It's not sort of very clean or hygienic, so I think that sort of adds to the sort of griminess of it a little bit. The only problem with that though is it is a bit tacky still. I've tried to get rid of the tackiness of it, but things that are put on top of it, after a while they do stick a little bit to it. Not extremely, or so they mark anything, but it's just so they're a little bit tricky to get off. I may try rubbing it down with some sort of talcum powder or something like that to try and get that stickiness off, but otherwise I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Possibly even get a new sealant and try to go over it with a matte sealant, so it's a little bit better. I also cut out these pieces. They're just from sort of old fabric. This one's like a pleather, like a fake plasticky leather. I just tried to cut them out that they were a sort of skins or pelts from some sort of animal, and just put them on top of the tray, on top of the throne rather. This one's like a fake velvet or fake suede or something. I don't know what it was. They were all just little offcuts of rags and things that I found, or sort of very cheap things bought from a charity shop that I just cut up and made into the shape. I've also got some other pieces that I want to try and sew and sort of make into small little cushions and put on the dais onto the throne to just sort of add to it and make it look a little bit more like it does in the movie, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. So yeah, that's my Jabbas Throne. I just thought I'd take the chance to sort of show it because I think my one's quite unique. Well, it is unique in a sense because it's the only one out there because I made it myself. But anyone else that's got a throne, especially if they've downloaded it or used one by like other creators or anything, I'd love to know how it compares to your ones and how your ones work. But yeah, this is my take on it. I'd love to know what people think. If they would like to leave a comment, that'd be awesome. If not, there's absolutely no need.